Mosley. I'm a seventh trimester student at Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport. Today, we'll be interviewing with Dr. Frank Vaught of Health on Earth Wellness in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Vaught is one of my biggest fans, or not one of my biggest fans. I'm one of his biggest fans in the chiropractic.
I'm a fan too, man. I'm a fan of you too.
Dr. Vaught has been amazing. He's dropped a lot of wisdom and knowledge for me personally, and I can't wait to get into some dialogue with him so that he can share some of that with you all. So Dr. Vaught, today we'll be speaking to the pre-chiropractic student. And with that in mind, brother, I ask you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into chiropractic.
Man, well, one of the biggest things that currently I'm in Chicago. A little bit about myself. One of the proudest things I am is a father first. I have two beautiful daughters, a son, an amazing wife. So that's one of my biggest accomplishments. I believe truly that, man, our future is the biggest thing that we have to live for. Through our family. And the next thing is, I believe what I was actually gifted, as far as grace to be able to do is be a chiropractor. I truly believe, Thomas Edison, he gave a quote, about the doctor of the future. Will give no medicine, will interest his patients in the cause and cure of disease. And, the doctors of the future are here, and I'm happy to be one. My mother had multiple sclerosis. She was diagnosed with it at the age of, when I was 6 years old. And one of the things that when I found out about chiropractic and that it dealt with this thing called a nervous system, man, I couldn't wait to get to learn more about it, how it worked, how it functioned, and in my community, how come I never heard of it? So that's where I finally got my introduction when I found out about it into chiropractic. So cool. That's where we're at with that right now.
Cool. That's awesome, Dr. Vaught. And so you got into chiropractic essentially from a very personal place then, huh?
Absolutely, my man. Absolutely.
So with that being your guide, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say with that being your guiding light.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
With that being your guiding light, brother, give us a little bit more info. That's all.
Oh, okay, good. That's exactly what I was doing. See, we vibing here, the same mind frame. So it I remember it was a time when I was a kid and I had terrible pain in my stomach. I went to the 3 different specialists, and one of the things that I actually saw was that each one gave me a different medication. So the pain had got so bad, I went to the last one, and they told me I had appendicitis. Now I went to all of these doctors, and they all gave me different diagnoses and medications. To finally, the last one said, you know what I'm going to do is actually have some surgery. So they told me I had appendicitis. They put me down on the operating table, and through the operation, the anesthesiologist made a mistake. They put too much anesthesia in me. A chamber in my heart collapsed. They told me my lungs filled up with blood, and I passed away. And statistically, from the last statistics, there are 30 to 40,000 people die in hospitals every year due to medical mistakes. Well, glory be to God, I didn't die because I'm here talking to you right now. But come to find out, it wasn't a appendicitis. What it was I had gas, and I almost lost my life because of that. And I think about the mistakes that happen within our community, the misdiagnoses that actually occur. I woke up and I looked around, and I had a tube in every orifice of my body. And what they were doing was pumping more things into me to pump the crap out of me that was put in me. And I will never forget that day sitting in the emergency room looking through the glass, you know, that man, like, you know, I was brought back, and I knew, you know, I was here for a bigger purpose. My introduction, like I said, when one of my partners with Vaught, we went to school together and we played ball, Dr. Xavier Tipler. And we were walking down the hallway, and one of the recruiters was in the school. And she came up to us and she said, man, you know, what are you guys, you know, what are you doing in your careers? We were both pre-med. And when we she said, well, you need to come to an open house at our school. You know, you need to come check us out. You know, we were like, you know, okay, you know, it's chiropractic, you know. She said, hey, we got free hotel room for you, and you can come get some free food. So, you know, we didn't turn down free food too much. You know, we was college students. So we drove on out to St. Louis. We went on over to Logan, but just fell in love with the concept. We fell in love with what we found out about healing. And when I found out about how it actually helped with the nervous system, it just took me, you know, to like, this is the place that I believe that God wants me to be, you know, to help people. So, you know, and here I am.
Yeah. That's deep, man. That's so deep. I think a lot of us kind of come into this profession with our own personal thing that led us here. And for you to have woken up on that table and gotten the stuff pumped in just to pump some stuff out that got pumped in before. And man, I mean, that's crazy for that to have been the experience that allowed you to connect with this lady and learn more about chiropractic. So that's huge, Doc. I appreciate you sharing that with us today. Again, we're kind of talking to the pre-chiropractic student. And so one of the things that we want to get into today is obviously your journey on the way going into chiropractic, but as well as some of the things you think that would be guiding light for some of those students. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the interview. But I also would like to know a little bit more about your background before chiropractic. You said that you were a hooper. I also understand that you served some time in our forces with the U.S. forces. And so if you could go a little bit more into that about your background before chiropractic.
Well, definitely. You know, I initially I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and not a hooper, but a baller. So I played football. And
Okay.
so Tipler and I both were on the same football team. And after graduating from high school, I mean, I went on out to Missouri to play ball at Central Methodist University. Out there, we took up pre-med. And, you know, I was anxious to really, you know, get into a field or profession where I could help people heal, help people get better, help people have a higher state of health. And one of the things that, you know, playing ball down there, when I got down there initially, you know, I sat back and I spoke with my counselor, and one of the things that she first said was, you know, hey, you know, you can get into, you know, education. She said, why don't you be, you know, physical education? Why don't you be a PE teacher? You know, all of the guys on the football team, you know, go into PE. So I said, you know, no, I think I want to be a doctor. You know, nothing wrong with it, but you know that's the direction I want to go in. I was very clear with that too.
Yeah.
And so getting past that and getting into the pre-med program, then moving forward and progressing and learning about the sciences and things that were fascinating to me. So that was that with pre-med. I left there and I went to the military. After I graduated, I knew I wasn't starting chiropractic school right away. And one of the things I wanted to do was position myself to have discipline, to be more financially inept, and then and try to pay some college, have some money for college. Everybody isn't as blessed to have the funding of family members and friends, or you know, and I never won a lottery. I wasn't a good crap shooter either. So you know, I guess I rolled the dice when I went to the military. So going to the military was an option for me, and it was one I took advantage of. And it was also a great opportunity to serve my country. So after getting out of the military, I got out, went in about April to do my training. April of like 2000 or something like that. December of 2000 is when I actually finished just my training, right?
Okay.
So 2 weeks later, chiropractic school started.
Right.
So I picked up everything, and left for the military. But I had my car sitting at a friend's house in a garage. So it had been sitting there for 9 months, right? But it
Wow.
was a stick. It was a
Yeah.
stick shift. So I pushed it down the hill, got in the car, and drove it, as long as I could to charge that battery up. So I drove about an hour, went on ahead, filled up with some gas, got to Logan. Didn't really have a place to stay. So I slept in the parking lot for a week. So I was sleeping in the parking lot, the security team would, chase me around because I couldn't sleep on a parking lot, They don't let homeless people, obviously, at Logan sleep on the parking lot. So I slept on the parking lot for a week. I began to hide my car at different places because I just didn't have the money. But
Right.
I wasn't going to let that thing stop me from moving forward. So once they started seeing it, they kept finding me. I slept inside of the school.
Okay.
I slept inside of the school for about a week and a half. And then I got caught one morning coming out of the bathroom. Had to brush my teeth for class there, Dr. Phil.
That's nice of
They
you.
took me to there we go. You gotta have fresh breath if you don't have house, right?
That's
So
nice of
they took me to they took me to I think it was the vice president's office, and they were like, we heard you've been sleeping in the school, and he moved me in the house with him.
Wow.
And that was I stayed with my vice president probably for a couple of weeks. They embraced me. I remember Dr. Pat Brown, amazing guy. Taught me a lot and showed me a lot of love. And it was from there where I started my career path as practicing chiropractic. I ended up hooking up with a classmate, and now here I am. So that was my journey with going through the process of um, of leaving, my home, through
Yeah.
the military, through college, and then going through to chiropractic school. And I thank God for every experience and every moment because each one of those things taught me taught me a whole lot of things.
Mm.
Sleeping in a Civic is definitely not good for your spine.
As you're going through chiropractic school. Man, you touched on like something huge, which is this resiliency aspect. I think a lot of us as students, we get bombarded with either schoolwork or if we come from a background where we may not have the funds like you were speaking of. And so that resiliency, holding you to be able to make it through a tough situation like that until the opportune moment, until somebody steps up and says, no, I see that in you and I want to be able to help you. So that's huge. And I mean, with that, let's get into a little bit of that financial aspect of deciding that you want to go into chiropractic school. What would you say to that student that may have a similar story? They don't really have the finances or they don't necessarily know how they're going to be able to get to school. They don't have a great network. What would you say to that student to encourage them and to help them get on that pathway if this is something that they want to do?
So a mentor of mine told me this, and it's something that I share on a regular basis. Is the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. So the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. So you've also heard this: a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So all around you are your resources. All around you are people that want to help you. All around you is everything. And I truly believe that God puts things in our life and in our pathway to help us and support us. But if we sit there and we don't ask, we can't receive.
Mm.
If you need help, ask for it.
Mm.
If you need assistance, ask for it. There's programs, there's people that want to help, but sitting there doesn't do you any good. There's admin at the school that's designed and set up. Talk to other chiropractors about what you're going through. And then too, you'd be surprised at how sharing your story with someone, how it will open up doors and avenues for you to receive. If you are in a if you're in a situation, if you have your back up against a wall, there is always a way. There's always somebody that had an experience that was worse than yours, and you're no less than anyone. One of the things that I've always patterned myself after is, if someone can get from point A to point B, I just need to find out how they did it, and work twice as hard as they did if I have half the talent as them to have exactly what they have. So, I don't have to, if I'm on the floor with Michael Jordan and he shoots 50 shots and he makes 25 of them, if I'm half as good as him, that means I need to shoot 100, to make 25. Then what that means is I'm still going to have what he has. I just got to be willing to put the work and sweat ethic in, as far as sweat equity, to get the job done. So there's always a way, Dr. Mosley. And one of the things too, if you feel like you don't know, because there is the sense of sometimes ignorance, and it's not, ignorance is just not knowing, right? Sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? So we don't know what we don't know. So because we don't know, get a mentor. Find a mentor, someone that can help you, somebody that can connect you, somebody that can hook you up with resources. Because let me tell you, there are people that want to help. There's people that want to see you succeed. But like we said, the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. If you don't have the things that you want, you got to look at the questions that you're asking in your life.
That's huge, man. And like this whole time, Doc, I know I'm supposed to be doing this interview, but I'm just sitting over here writing down notes. Every time I talk to you, you start dropping stuff like that. And so the quality of the questions you ask is going to determine the quality of your life. And you said that before. You said that at the Evoke conference, and I will get into Evoke a little bit too, because as we're talking about mentorship. And one of the things that you said also is, if you don't ask, you don't receive. And so this was something that you spoke, and I don't even remember when, but it was like, if you want a mentor, you got to ask. You got to ask. You got to ask for a mentor. You have to walk up to that person and say, I look up to you, and I would like for you to mentor me, to help guide me, and I want to be able to help you in whatever way is possible. So that's huge, Doc. And I hope anybody that's listening to this is taking some time to write down the golden nuggets that you're dropping, because it's huge. So yeah, let's get into that. So can you talk about Evoke a little bit? I know that you helped co-found some of what Evoke is, and you have a different practice in Chicago, but you all still work together. So can you talk a little bit about Evoke and what you all are doing with that program?
Man, Evoke is is probably one of the most exciting things that is happening in chiropractic in my life right now, because of what we're able to share and what we're able to give. My partners and I, so I'm one of the co-founders. My partner, Dr. Everett, and Dr. Tippler, are my partners, and I'll tell you what, I mean, they have a passion and a fire and a philosophy for chiropractic like I've not seen in some brothers, man, and we have a phenomenal time and talking. The reason why we created the group,
boy, you kind of okay. There we go.
You got me on there. All right.
Yeah,
so
I got you back now.
Okay, we got cut off. So one of the we would.
You're cut off again, Doc. The sound. No, is it you got a microphone in there? Well, we'll be back here shortly. And man, Dr. Vaught is dropping major gems right now. Major gems. Yeah,
Are we together? Are we together?
yes,
There we
sir.
go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one of the things that I would do with my partners in the morning, we would call each other each morning, and we'd be driving to work, and we'd be talking about the things that we wanted to do, and you know, we will be looking at, you know, okay, how we were going to grow, how we were going to impact community, you know, and then we begin, as we would go to these seminars, we weren't seeing, you know, people that look like us. You
Right.
know, so we're hearing about all of these doctors just impacting their community, having like massive success, and we never saw people that look like us. And we're sitting up wondering why. We're like, man, how come other doctors aren't experiencing this? And then so we start going to our organizations, and we start talking about, you know, man, we need to do wellness, or we need to see volume. We got to go impact the community. You know, we got to, you know, empty out the hospitals and fill up the churches, man. You know, these are the things we were saying. And we were talking, we were looking, wasn't nobody else talking like us.
Right.
And when we went to chiropractic school, one of the things that we saw in our community, that is, one of the things that we saw was chiropractic was at 11% saturation total. 11%. That's how much of the population actually got chiropractic. So now it's like, I think 6 to 8%.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, you know, if we're going to truly get chiropractic to be at a mass circulation, you know, we're going to have to make sure we hit minority communities. But there was nobody teaching minorities how to go in to minority communities, because nobody knew how, because there were no minority coaching groups. Right. So we said, you know, we have large practices that are seeing over 100 a day, and they're in minority communities. And if you come to our offices, you'll see that those are the people that we're impacting. So we want to teach doctors that are minorities, and all doctors that want to know how to treat minorities and how to communicate and talk to them, how to reach them and how to help them with help. Because they're the minority, they're the communities that have the highest disparities. They're the communities that have the highest level of crime, and oftentimes the most uninformed communities about health. So that's something that we got really passionate about, and we knew that if we were going to cause a shift and a change, that we had to start with the students,
right?
Because everybody's, you know, they get set in their ways with what they do, but if we could give this to students first, then they can go on out there and really start being transformative if that was the way that they wanted to practice. So we put together a vote. First, we started going to the conferences and talking, and then we started going to the ABCA groups, and then we started going to the campuses and meeting students, and then we started the mentoring and the adjusting labs, and we were doing all these things, and we were finding out that the students really wanted it. Like they wanted to practice like that. They wanted to feel that. They wanted to have that passion, and they wanted to figure out how they could bring it to a community that was oftentimes not even considered, right? So we put together Evoke, and it was like, man, like, so then we wanted to put that oneness, that sense of oneness in that community, and really look at it. Because when I was in chiropractic school, man, when we used to have our national conventions, it was the absolute most amazing thing for me. In my class, it was only 1 or 2 Black people. Wow. And in my school, it was what, 4 or 5? Yeah. You know, at the time. And I was like, man. So, you know, when I would go to the national conventions and I'd see the ABCA, I'd be like, wow, like we exist. We here. Hey, we here. Like we really exist. But what are we doing impactful in the community? And how come we don't actually get together? I know that, you know, we carry the church inside of us, right? So church isn't a building for connecting with God, but what church is for is for fellowship, right? And
Mhm.
fellowship is a coming together of a bunch of different people with different problems, with different things going on, and being able to get together and really be like, hey, you know what? We're supposed to be supporting each other. It really does take a community. And so we came up with the Vaught conference. So everything we come up with is based upon a particular need that's not being met. So
Right.
we don't copy anybody or try to do anything that's similar. What we do is we look for a need within a community for chiropractic. What we're doing for is for minority reach of chiropractors to increase the saturation of chiropractic around the world so people can be healthier and have more, and then unite a community of people that oftentimes have been separated to let them know that, you know what, together we can do some amazing things and we can change the world.
Yeah. That's huge, man. And I mean, I would encourage any pre-Cairo Cairo students who are looking to expand their reach, expand into communities that they may not be comfortable in, or expand into their own communities, but they don't know how, to make sure that you are keeping up with the Vaught. Get in touch with Dr. Vaught or Dr. Tipler or Dr. Everett, and make sure that you are getting in touch with these guys, because what he's talking about right now is being able to get back into the community and spread this message of chiropractic, of your nervous system being cleared, and you being able to be in control of you through the chiropractic adjustment and through that clearing of your nervous system. So make sure that you, if you're a pre-Chiro student or you're a student right now, that you get in touch with Dr. Vaught or anybody else from the Evoke team. Can you tell us a little bit about, also for those students who are either in school right now or getting ready to come into school, a little bit about the EDI program and also the Bridge program that you all do with Evoke, if you don't mind touching on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So the EDI, man, is like that community, like, right. So we got all of the schools, all around the country, and we have these 2 calls every month. The first call is they're on Wednesday evenings, and it's where you actually connect with us, and we sit down and we talk about basic things that they do not teach you in school: how to run an office, how to communicate, business, how to train your employees, chiropractic philosophy, and we have an hour conversation, and we sit down and we just delve and we dive into what it takes to have success from a student experience level and even from a doctor's, because we have doctors and students on our calls. And so it's awesome. Now we do 2 calls a month. The second call, we actually have somebody to come in that actually can teach you different things about experiencing how to be expansive in your thinking, out of the box. Like last week, this week we actually had 2 government officials that worked within the VA and the DOD, and they were talking about how to implement chiropractic uh, inside of those things, as far as you being the chiropractor to see veterans, you being the chiropractor in these veteran facilities and hospitals. And not only were we just talking about it, because everybody talks about stuff, Dr. Mosley, but we had resources. We had people that will talk to you. There's numbers, and they will give you information. This is not an automated voice. It is not in a different language, Dr. Mosley. It's 100% English. Not that it doesn't matter, but it's something that you can understand, something that you can tap into, and it's people that want to help you, not take advantage of you. We got enough people out there that are really crafty with words and really good at drawing you in and trying to get you, or prep the prime. But with this, it's something that we can just constantly pour back into. I think our EDI for students is like $29 a month. Like $29 a month. That's what you pay, and you get these 2 calls all throughout chiropractic school. For our docs, I think docs is like $79, $89 a month. And what it does is it keeps you entangled or tied up. You never know, if you're a doctor, you might meet your associate on that call. You might meet a student that needs to come in and do a preceptor with you. Just with that connection, the biggest thing that we're about is evoking something that's going to keep us together and keep us strong and united. Now, our bridge program came from even my own personal experience. When I graduated from chiropractic school, I was rich, That's why I
Yeah.
slept in my car.
Correct.
That's why I slept in my
Right.
car, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. So,
Yeah.
our bridge program supports a doctor coming from school and going all the way through being trained to being preceptor to being in an office to ownership with coaching all the way through that process. And we
Mhm.
support a doc in getting funding and financing to open a practice of their dreams. And we
Wow.
teach you the Vaught principles and in our program to help you to have success until ultimately you take the program over, you buy your office, and you make it your own. So you
Mm.
start off in school learning these things, especially important things being a part of the EDI. Then, as you get into your upper tries, you begin to learn systems and procedures. When you get to your preceptor, you go into an office, and then from your preceptor, after meeting certain metrics, you move right over into the bridge program where you open to your own office, where you're opening up your own facility and your place. We help you with where you want to be. We help you with demographics. We help you with the whole thing until you're into ownership and you own your own office. So everybody doesn't have that the ability as far as with getting the funding and things of that nature. But one of the things that we help you with doing that is by assisting you in laying a foundation for you to actually be able to get that, both financially and then as well as the information that it takes to be able to be successful in practice.
Yeah, and what I can tell everybody who's listening into this about what Dr. Vaught is talking about right now is that I have not seen as a student any other program that does what they're talking about, especially for minority, Black, African American, people of color. There's no other program out here that's looking to assist, looking to mentor, looking to provide for that population of people. So the fact that you all saw a need, you saw where value could be added, you added value. I just want anybody that's listening to this right now to be empowered that, this man, Dr. Vaught, went from sleeping in his car in the parking lot to now owning and co-founding organizations that are helping people be able to open up their own businesses. So that's the power that we have within us. And man, I'm just inspired by just sitting here listening to you. And every time I hear the stories, and every time I hear that because I've heard this before, right? We got a lot of interactions. I've been to the Results Conference. I've been to the National ABCA conference, and man, every single time I just get fired up talking to you, Doc, because it's like it's not many people out here with that resiliency, with that drive, and with that love in their heart. And so, man, just really appreciate what you do. Really appreciate what you do, bro.
This year, I remember seeing you at the conference. Now, this year's conference is going to be it's going to be bananas, Doc. And I'm talking about our conference, the 2021 Evoke Conference. Say it loud. It's going to be absolutely outstanding. The speakers, the lineup, the energy, the whole layout is going to be absolutely amazing. And we also are putting our boot camp together, our 7-figure boot camp. So the first one's going to be in March now. It's going to be absolutely. So we broke it up into 4 parts. All of the principles of how we operate with our core values, and as far as departments to run an office. So the Evoke departments, the 7 departments, we actually have every single department broken up in all 4 of our seminars to help you, an aspiring doc, a doc in practice, a doc starting off, a student, have foundational principles and running a practice and having success, and we're going to be doing that throughout the year. So we're going to be rolling out that campaign. It's going to be an exciting thing there, Doc. It's going to be pretty awesome.
I already know. So if you're a pre-chiropractic student, and the pre-chiropractic students can come to this as well, right?
Absolutely. The pre-chiropractic students can come, and then being a part of the EDI gets you a big discount on everything that we do. So we set it up like that because our EDI students, they've already been hearing us monthly already, right? So this is just going to be a continuance of everything that they're going to be getting, but it's going to be amplified. So it's going to have a phenomenal opportunity to really just be able to be dipped in chiropractic, man, and then just have to be fed because you give so much of your time, your energy, your mind in school, and it's cool to be just fed and fed and fed and fed, so you could be empowered to go back out there and really make some changes and make a difference.
100%, 100%. I'm gonna shift the topic a little bit here, Dr. Vaught, and I'm gonna ask you. You know, you spoke about going into chiropractic school, and like it was like four Black people in the school when you were there. And I mean, I think a lot of us have that same experience. When I came into Palmer, there was maybe 7, 8 of us, and that's grown. That number has grown over the past 2 years tremendously. So for that, I'm truly grateful. And I see that happening in some of the other schools now as more people are getting more informed in the technological age. But we still have a lack of representation in the school and in the profession. So, I mean, what would you say is the effect of that lack of representation? And what are some ways that we, either as students or as somebody who's looking to come into the chiropractic profession, what are some of the ways that we can overcome that lack of representation?
Well, some of the effects of that is just looking at our communities. If you go to any community and you ask about chiropractic, oftentimes, in a minority community, it's if they've seen a chiropractor, it's because of a motor vehicle accident, and that's the big claim. You know, I got into a car accident, I had to go to a back cracker, and that's where they go and get popped. So they go to a back cracker and get popped. Like if they're a back cracker, they should get cracked, right? But I mean, they go get popped at a back cracker. So I mean, that's where we're at with chiropractic and a lot of our communities. And then you look at the altered state of health. You look at the disparities. You look at crime. You look at even in the grades, the competency. You know, having lack of resources is one thing too. But then you throw in there your health, you know, being in there having those problems that are complicated. That's a huge disruption, Doc.
Yeah.
A healthier community has a chance to stand even with lack of resources and reach tremendously further due to the fact of their ability to be able to be connected. You know, so if we can get a larger outreach and within our communities, number one, as chiropractors, to get out to talk to more people in communities, will have that knowledge. Number two, getting to these schools within the communities, and we've been actually talking with some admin at some of the colleges about doing some things with high schools, with universities, locally and nationally, to do some education. And then too, by partnering and working with schools, we have no problem with partnering and working and being with schools and going out and educating. If they want to reach us or locate us, they can email us at like evokechiropracticcoaching.com or evokechiropracticcoaching@gmail. You know, that's something that's not a problem at all. It's what we have to do from the start. Now, by what we're doing with Evoke, man, that's why people like you, Doc, are so important, man, because it's what you're doing right now that's helped reaching out into communities. Somebody's going to pick up the torch. Somebody's going to find the need in the community to continue to carry it, because it's not a one person thing. It's not a one dimensional problem. It's a problem. It's a community thing. It's one of the reasons why, there you go again, the conference was created. We get that fellowship in there. We get to talking about the need that our communities have. Now all of a sudden, we got our patients. We're talking to our patients about chiropractic. We're talking to our patients about having more students at the Evoke conference. That's one of the things that we're going to be actually trying to implement this year, as far as some of the larger cities around the United States, inviting students, inviting their campus to bring and bus students in to come to our conference, so they can be around student doctors, so they can be around doctors. And you talking about it's going to blow their mind. You remember the conference last year? You looked around, it was 300 people in there.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Black
doctors. Oh my goodness.
Doctors. So you get a kid from the city, or even from the suburbs, and he's the only kid in his classroom that looks like him, and you look and see a sea of doctors, a sea of doctors. You like, I can do something. I can be something. I can be more. I can have
Mm.
more. My community can be more. My community can have more. My community can thrive. They can thrive. This is wow. I know you asked me a question, but like, I mean, you go to this
What you're
place
speaking
like,
on, so yeah.
you go
Yeah,
to
I
this
mean
place.
that lack of representation, that we
Mhm,
see. And so what you all are offering, what you're talking about right now is how do we bridge that gap in this
mhm,
community?
mhm.
It's
It's
community. It's getting into
community.
those communities. It's getting in there. It's talking to the kids early. I think so many times, like, man, if I would have seen a chiropractor in high school, there's no way I wouldn't have been in the league. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's so many things that's like my mindset would have been different. My
That's so
body
true.
would
You
have
know
been
what?
moving
But I
different.
laugh, but that's so true.
It's
I,
true.
I remember being in school, in high school, and playing ball, and I remember going to the other schools, and they had trainers, they had athletic trainers, they had nurses, they had chiropractors, they had doctors. We had an offensive coordinator, a
Yeah,
defensive coordinator,
yeah,
uh, a special teams coach,
yeah.
and maybe the coach's son was out there, right? I mean, just assisting with things. So we literally went out there, and our coaches, bless their hearts, man. They did everything. They did everything to support us and help us. This is why we take, as far as the Vaught docs, we take a strong approach in going into communities and being a part of those things, especially within our communities, like with the baseball teams, basketball teams. Dr. Tipler has coached for many years. Dr. Everett, I had a whole minor league baseball team that I was facilitating for, and going into high schools and talking. So we have a blast with it. I mean, that's a way of penetrating and leaving that impression, in the minds. Going to the schools, talking to the kids, talking about backpack safety, talking about healthy habits, talking about a healthy nervous system. I mean, these are
Mm,
things that we have to do. We got to volunteer our time, because when you know better, you're supposed to what?
do better.
There you go. There
That's
you
the truth.
go.
That's the truth. Man, dude, you're as always. I love talking to you. I love talking to
Likewise,
you, bro.
Doc, man. It's always a pleasure, Doc. Always a pleasure.
I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you get back because I know you're serving people in your community right now, and
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
you're getting people right in Chicago, in a place where we need it a lot. I'm from the
Hey,
suburbs out there, so we need
yes,
that out there.
there we go. There
We
we
need
go.
that out there for sure. But this is a question that actually the founder of Pre-Chiro asked me when I did my interview a couple weeks ago, and he said, if we had 1,000 Black chiropractors and all of them very successful, willing to put up $1 million a piece for the profession, how would that impact the greater consciousness of humanity? And I want to pose that same question to you, like, how would we see a change if we had Black chiropractors stepping up together, collaborating financially, for this vehicle we call chiropractic to change people, to change people's minds, to change their being? What would that look like from your perspective?
You know what? One of the things, money is powerful. But when it comes to impact, though, I don't believe money is the only thing. Money is an essential thing, but what it's going to have to start off with is a plan and a vision. A bunch of money is great. You can sit a bunch of money in a bank, in a box, in a vault, but it's the plan that we have as far as a vision of what it looks like. Then, as we collab with those 1,000 chiropractors, and we have the same vision, and we move it, as far as forward in the community that we're trying to penetrate, then we will have it. It's the vision where everything starts. It's the vision. Before Martin changed the world, before Malcolm changed the world, before Kennedy changed the world, even Rosa, it was a stand that they took in a line that they drew in the sand. When the vision is clear, the money shows up.
Hmm.
When the vision is clear, and the oneness and the togetherness is there, that's when the actual change happens. So you get 1,000 chiropractors with $1 million, and the vision is clear. The vision that we have with Evoke is having a oneness within the minority community to evolve, help, and shift and change communities. That's one of the things, and to build extraordinary healthcare leaders. That then we take that money and then we utilize it to support those doctors, to reach those communities, to give to those communities, to educate those communities, and that will cause this shift and this change. And I know that with that amount of money and those amount of doctors, I know we could change the world, because if one can, should 1,000 might do some things for some aliens out there. It's the universal type stuff that.
Hey, look, if you wasn't gonna be a chiropractor, you could have been a comedian, Dr. Vaught. You'd have been, you would have been rocking the stage. It's so hard when they had nothing on you, dog. Man, oh man. And that's huge because again, bringing up that 7-figure earner boot camp that you guys have, what you're doing is you're enabling that to happen. That vision,
Absolutely.
1,000 chiropractors with 1 million, like it was 300 people, like you said at that Vaught conference.
Right.
All of them were black. All of them were black. So if we can get them on that page, oh my goodness, it's no telling where it goes. It's no telling where it goes.
Absolutely. That's the vision, Doc. That is the vision, Doc. That's the vision.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Dr. Vaught, as always, man, I appreciate you taking some time out your day. Is there anything else that you would like to give to that chiropractic student or that pre-chiropractic student who's trying to decide if this is the right career path for them, if this is something that they really want to do? What is chiropractic? What would, if you could, leave some lasting words on that individual, what would you say to them as we're closing out this interview?
And we opened it up talking about find a mentor, find somebody that that definitely has your heart in mind, as well as your future in mind, because if they see a bigger vision. We are those people. You find your mentor, but we can be those people for you if you don't have it. Evoke Chiropractic Coaching at Gmail. Evoke Chiropractic Coaching at Gmail. Be sure to get on there. Just send us a note. That's free. Connect with us. Let us know that you're there. And then get registered for our EDI. Get yourself prepared to get some great information, to connect with the community of people that support you. You can go to evokechiropractic.com. That's evokechiropractic.com. Get signed up for the EDI. From there, what we'll be able to do is really start steering you, leading you, giving you information and jewels to help you have success in practice and within it in school. So, man, reach out to us, man. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We want you to have success. We know what it's like being out here as a chiropractor, especially being a minority chiropractor. And this is why we're building a community to strengthen you, to support you, and ultimately help you out to practice in life for your dreams.
That's awesome. Dr. Vaught, I really appreciate you spending some time with me this morning, speaking to that pre-chiropractic student. Like he said, evokechiropracticcoaching.com. And then what was the Gmail one more time?
Evoke Chiropractic Coaching at Gmail, and it's evokechiropractic.com. So Evoke Chiropractic Coaching at Gmail, and then evokechiropractic.com.
Got you. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, Doc, I appreciate you, brother. We'll be talking soon.
Brother. Absolutely. You be blessed.
You as well. Peace.